going to say it does help if I turn my microphone on. Right, check the others are working. You on? You're on. That's good. And you're flashing away nicely. I've already been told I look scruffy. Just having to wait a few minutes for a fuel boat, which is fueling another boat. And it looks like they're buying, I don't know what they're buying. Could be diesel. It's just that he was at a funny angle across the canal. I've cast off at the back, Paul's still got the front rope. And we wait. I don't know what they're doing. I'm hoping that they just come along and pootle out the way so we can set off. Where are we? We're at Fenny Compton. It's Saturday the 3rd of September, and the last time I looked at my clock it was 9:15. It's now 9:05 in the morning, and we've been stood waiting for 20 minutes. Canal time. It's a wonderful thing. Morning. Sorry?
Lovely day.
It is, yeah. I'm hoping it's not going to rain until much later. Right, we're being dragged. Here we go. Right. Right. Yes.
Jams in the back of there.
Oh,
Just stop.
get to the side, yeah.
Prod around.
Yeah, okay.
Don't try forcing the tiller.
No.
It's never going to solve it.
Alright. Okay, I'll see you in a bit. We had a bit of a moment on the last trip. Unfortunately, the tiller got jammed. I couldn't move it. I've got a bit of a wobble on it actually at the minute, so I have to have a proper look at it at some point over the next year. Right, it looks like lots of people are sort of setting to and getting ready to cast off. There's a boat on the water point down here. A couple of boats moored up in front of, well, one boat moored up in front of that. I'm taking a wide berth of all the overhanging branches, because I don't want you to get smacked in the back of the head. There's the boat name on the other side of it. We walked past it last night. We arrived last night. We were hoping to get a meal at the wharf inn, which we're just about to pass. You'll see that in a second. Yeah, it's here at the wharf inn. There's a couple of water points which are frequently used. There's a winding hole which is just coming up on my right, your left. I think it's a winding hole. Yes, it is. There's a sign that says it is on the side there. And then you've got the wharf inn, which is buildings that way, which I'm not sure whether you'll actually get to see as we go past, because we're going under a bridge, and it's the old Bridge 136, which used to be the road, or the main road in this part of Fenny Compton. They've built a new road, and brand new bridge, less than 10 metres away from the old one. So anyway, wharf in. Unfortunately, when we arrived, the kitchens were closed, so we couldn't get a meal, which is unfortunate. But we have got provisions on board, just a few, not too many. So we ended up having a pasta with, well, I say a pasta, it was several pastas because we're finishing the packets off, with a tomato sauce, and bought some sausages to have for breakfast this morning, which we had half the packet last night as part of our dinner. So, sausage pasta. It was alright, it was nice, it was filling, it was warm. I think there is another pub further down into the village in Compton. I think it's called the Merry Lion or something similar, but we didn't want to. We sort of arrived after probably about hour and a half drive or so. Didn't really fancy going anywhere else. It's a long line of moorings here just before, if you're coming from north going south, just before Bridge 136A. We're on moorings just the other side of the wharf in. Again, there's mooring rings back there, and there's rings down this section as well, but you can also use nappy pins or chains in the arm post, so that's good. Quite a nice spot. I'm just peering round the corner to check to see if there's any other boats coming. Can't see them. Stand on this step. It is still quite early. Relatively early, 9 o'clock. And the weather this weekend was meant to be atrocious. We're meant to be having, well, it's you can see it's getting up, wind's getting up, but we're meant to be having storms, heavy rain and storms. But yeah, I've said that now. What could possibly go wrong? Got 3 boats moored up here. There was a wasp. I think it was wasps. It could have been bees in the actual towpath along here. We get burrowing bees in this country. I think we probably get them worldwide, but they're normally pretty solitary. Though I think it could have been a wasp. And speaking of wasps, there's one now. Should say these are long-term moorings that have got the rings and the pilings and the nice arm toe. Just beyond the long-term moorings, it goes to El Natural. It's not really, it's concrete filled sandbags that are making up the towpath edge. But again, there's rings set in concrete, so you can tie up there, which is quite nice. You can get mooring pin in as well. It's possible to do that because we did that down here when we being 60 foot long, the rings seem to be set at 57 foot or shorter, so we always overhang. it doesn't feel right putting the mooring ropes so that they're coming in from the front or in from the back, because they're meant to be out at a 45-degree angle. I'm hoping no one's coming around this corner and no one's coming under the bridge. Come on then. Paul says I look scruffy, so I apologise for looking scruffy. I've just not, I'm going to say I've not bothered this week with the shave or actually dressing up. I've got my grubby old Gap top on that I've had for years. It's all fading coloured, funny where I've spilt stuff down it and tried to get it out. It's my typical boat top. I say it's a boat top because I suppose I treat boating a bit like I treated camping and scouting. You don't wear your best clobber because you just know, or I just know, something's going to go wrong. I'm going to be down in the weed hatch or down in the engine bay and getting covered in muck or rubbing up against some bird muck on the side of the boat or something. There isn't too much. There's some on the roof this morning, but you know what I mean. If I can get grubby, I will get grubby, and it's just, yeah. There's no point in me wearing a three-piece suit or a dinner jacket on the back of the boat, because by the end of the cruise, it'll look like I've been in a Bond film sort of fight scene and lost. Slow up a bit. Some more boats. Some more moored boats. I like the name of that band. Two Hoots. I've been looking for a piece of music to do an opening scene with, and I can't remember the name. I'm sure it's Morning, or it's definitely not sort of Vivaldi Spring. I don't think it's Vivaldi Spring. It's the that one. Now I can't for the life of me remember one, the composer, or two, the title of it. It's driving me mad, and I'm trying to get Google Music to recognise my da-da-da-da-da thing, and it's not, and it's picking up all sorts of weird and wonderful tracks. It's been interesting, but yeah, you can try it yourself. Yeah, I'll find it eventually. It'll be I just think it would be a lovely sort of opening for a fresh, I suppose we're in autumn now, autumnal morning. Right, let's give us some welly and see what we get. The water levels this morning look alright, it's not too low at all by the look of it, so it's all good. I must say I've enjoyed the scenery on the South Oxford as far as we got. We didn't get very far down. You'd have seen Claydon Locks was as far as we went, to the bottom of there, to the Winding Hole, turning around and then heading back. But they're talking about water restrictions not only on Napton but also on the Braunston Locks at the minute, so they're only open during certain time periods. So we've turned tail and we're heading back to Safe Harbour, our home marina. But we've been out since probably mid-July now. We haven't recorded everything. I haven't wanted to record everything. I suppose it's because we're both working, and it's like I said before, and that takes up a lot of our time. Especially Paul travelling backwards and forwards to where he needs to be for his work. Bridge coming up. Alright, round we go. So where's Paul? Paul has disappeared to take the car in front of us. We're car hopping again, and he's going to be walking back. He was humming and hawing about taking the bike with him. To be honest, the towpaths haven't been fantastic. This, at the minute, it's not too bad here, or it doesn't look too bad here. But further up this South Oxford, it was horrendous. Lots of flies around as well at the minute. Yeah, no, it was horrendous. It was overgrown. It parts of the towpath were actually missing in places. I've stood in a couple of, as we were trying to battle our way through the undergrowth or the overgrowth or whatever you want to call it, David Bellamy style, in the undergrowth. We were sort of trudging along, and your foot just goes down and keeps going, sort of thing, and it wasn't pleasant. I keep getting wet feet, and I don't like that. Bridge 134. Where are we heading? We're heading towards Marston Dolls. And there was a place to pop the car just by the bridge there. And easy access onto the towpath again. Which is good, which is nice. Sorry, I'm kicking a little bit of gravel around the back deck. I keep standing on it, and I'm thinking I'm scraping on the paintwork at the side here. Just thought while we're on a straight bit. Now, if you watched our Back to Milton Keynes vlog series, in part 3, I think it was, as we go past Campbell Wharf, I'm sure it was part 3, as we go past Campbell Wharf, one of the boaters says that they've heard of us and that we needed to sort out our merchandise. Now, we don't do merchandise, unfortunately. We decided against it, just simply because it's a job in itself to actually sort out the merchandise. I know there's companies that can do it for you, and they take it's extra money, and there's other channels out there that have got merchandise and would love you to buy their merchandise from them. There's some very talented artists. There's just people that are producing vlogs and entertaining us, and they need help in people buying their merchandise to help them keep going. So I'd rather you help them and keep them going. These are our anniversary mugs. We've been buying them each year. I haven't this year actually, so that's a very good reminder. I should have bought some, but I didn't. So these are our anniversary mugs. Each of the years that we've been on the boat, I've had just two mugs produced. So we're not really thinking of selling them. I might if we get a half decent amount of subscribers at some time, say that we're doing a giveaway, and we'll probably give away some mugs. But that depends on when we get to the X number of subscribers. I don't know. Someone suggest. YouTube seemed to think that you need 1,000 subscribers for you to be able to do anything. We've only got, well, today we've got about 300. We've been steady at 300 for a couple of years, so it's, or 300 thereabouts. So I don't know, if we get to 500 or get to 1,000, we might start giving some mugs away, or some pens, or I don't know, something. I'm not going to hold my breath. I don't expect people to suddenly flood and subscribe in their millions to us. And it's, yeah, but if you'd like a mug, try and convince a few people to subscribe, and we'll see how we go. I suppose 500 from 300 is only 200 extra people, so that's not a huge amount, so, but they are double-sided. And you may be thinking that the logos and that are all on the wrong side. Well, Paul's actually left-handed, so he would always hold his mug that way round. And because the tiller's on our right, and we're always holding on to the tiller, I've put the logo on the back of the mug rather than on the front of the mug, so that it shows on camera as we're drinking. But on the back of this one, it's got our Facebook, Twitter. I forgot what Instagram is. Instagram and YouTube logos at the bottom as well, and it's yeah. I thought that was quite a nice mug. I'm weaving all over the canal, so I'm going to put this down and I'm going to concentrate a little bit because we're coming up to another corner. I think that field is the old deserted village of Wormington, so we're probably cutting through the sorry, I'm smirking at the hand outline on that post. I'm not sure whether you're going to see it. Someone's put their hand there and sprayed over it. Let's slow us down. Yes, that is the old deserted, or the ancient deserted medieval village of Wormington. So we're cutting through the moat of what used to be Wormington Manor House. Get round the corner. Thank you. There's all sort of raised platforms and bits where the houses of the village were. The land was cleared by the landowner. He's way back, sort of 1500s, late 1400s, early 1500s. Cleared for sheep farming initially, but he's also put a couple of fish ponds in. When I say ponds, I suppose it was more like fish farming, so it was huge pools, sort of just to keep a stock of fish for the, I suppose, for the table. But they cleared about 60 people off the land according to the records. There's loads of information about it. At one point, as you're going around the canal, you're meant to be able to, if you're on the towpath, stand and look up what used to be the high street. I was checking for my phone in my pocket. I haven't. It's down there. It's charging. Oh, it was tea. Yeah. I don't know. I don't tend to drink coffee at home except in the afternoon, which is round the wrong way really. You should have coffee in the morning to wake you up, and tea in the afternoon, traditionally British, you know, pinky out and proper bone shine. Oh, that could be the point, where you stood looking up, because there's raised platforms either side of it, and there's a dip in the middle. Ah, okay. This little raised platform sort of set, I don't know, what we're going to say, 10 foot apart? What's that in meters? 3 meters? 4 metres. That's where the houses would have been, and as people have walked around the outside of them and walked up and down the street, it's dipped. There have been archaeological digs and bits and pieces happening in the field, but it's a protected. It's now protected. You can't do metal detectoring or digging or anything in there. There's sheep in there as well, so no, it's strange. A lot of the village now, they've built a new manor house up on the top of the hill. I think I said this in the journey coming down. It was eventually purchased by the Spencer family. They've got a lot of land around sort of Northampton and this area, and they made their money from sheep farming. Now, a very big bird just took off. I don't think it was a heron, but it was in that tree, and it took off and it's flown that way, and I completely missed it. But I'm stood here in awe at how big that was. Could have been a red-tailed kite. Could have been anything. I don't mean big bird as in Sesame Street, I mean a bird that is large in size. It flew. Can you imagine big bird flying? Don't tell me there's an episode in Sesame Street which shows big bird flying.
There's actually a song about that. I'll put a link to it in the description below. I'd take your chance and leave now if I were you. Anyway, see you next time. Bye.